Well, we accomplished a major milestone. There are now over 400 subscribers to this channel, and there have been over 4,000 views to all the videos. And I owe that all to you guys. So this week, week number 5, I dedicate to all of you, my quilting friends, past, present, and future. This week, we're making a friendship star. So let's get started. So before we get started, I wanted to actually address this question because I've been getting a lot of inquiries about where people can actually purchase these tools from. If you remember from week 3, I kind of introduced you to the kids, as I call them, but this is a seam ripper, or that I call Jack. Here's the stiletto, or that I call Stella, and the wood press that I call Woody. Now, these tools I purchased from a vendor or a business called Sawyer Creek Artistry, and unfortunately Sawyer Creek Artistry does not, they don't have a website where you can order from them directly. However, I do have a very good friend of mine. Her name is Tijuana, and she has a YouTube channel called T Quilts. And on her website, she actually carries these tools. She's a distributor of Sawyer Creek Artistry, and once in a great while, or once every couple times throughout the year, she'll make an order with Sawyer Creek Artistry, and she will sell them on her website. So if you're interested in picking up these tools, go to her website, tquilts.com. I'll leave a link in the description below, and you can order these tools from her. And she does carry other colors. There's a black, or not a black and white, but a purple and black combination that I'm kind of keeping my eye on. So Jack and Stella and Woody are soon going to have another family joining them. But again, if you're interested in ordering these tools, you can go to tquilts.com and check the link or check the description below for the link. If I make a lot of mistakes today, well, this is, dare I say, this is a fairly simple block to make. But if I make a lot of mistakes, here's why. I totally ran out and I didn't have time to run to Costco. So, hey, if I make a mistake, that's for your enjoyment. So you can laugh at my mistake. But interestingly enough, a lot of people have said thank you for showing us that I do make mistakes, because it makes them feel better. So I'm glad that my mistake is making you feel better. At least someone's getting something out of it. Hold on. Maybe I think I do have another backup potion. Yeah. Okay. The backup elixir is here. Oh yeah, that looks good. Oh, that's a good backup security plan. Oh, I thought this was orange. It's mango. Well, still good anyway. So let's get started making our friendship star. So to make this particular friendship star, we're going to use 5-inch squares. I got 6 5-inch squares of a background, or in this case it's just white. You can use whatever fabric you want to use. And then I got 3 of the printed 5-inch squares. Now, on 2 of the background squares, I'm going to do the 2 at a time half square triangle method. So I'm going to draw a line from corner to corner. And let's see, let me line it up. So there's 1. And of course I'm drawing this line on the wrong side of the fabric. Again, you can use whatever marking tool that you would like to. I'm just using a regular ballpoint pen here. And it's not going to matter because we're going to be eventually cutting on that line. But what we'll do is we will take this to the sewing machine. We'll put it with one of the printed squares, put it right sides together, and then what we are going to do is sew a 1/4 inch away from the center line on both sides. 1/4 inch away here, 1/4 inch away from the center here. Okay, so let's take these to the sewing machine. So we're back at the cutting table, and we are going to actually cut these half square triangles apart right on the line that we drew. Okay, and we'll cut the other one. So again, we're just cutting it right on that center line. Whoops, missed a thread there. I think I need to actually change out this blade. Okay, now if you haven't seen this method of squaring up, let's do it like this. Okay, so I'm gonna put the opening up to my upper right. Now we're gonna square up these blocks to 4.5. So right up here, I'm putting that 4.5 inch mark right on the seam line here, as well as here. And I'm gonna cut off the excess here. Whoops, yep, I really do need to change this blade. And cut off the excess here. And we'll flip it around. Now we're gonna put the 4.5 inch mark here. We're gonna line up the edges of the fabric right on that 4.5 inch mark, and we can cut our dog ears off here. Whoop. There and there. And now we have a half square triangle that is squared up to 4.5 inches. Okay, so again, opening in the upper right hand corner, which is this way for me. I know the camera's upside down. Putting the 4.5 inch mark here right on the seam line, and also checking that the 4.5 inch mark here is also on the seam line. Now this one is cutting it really close. Then we trim off the excess and trim off the excess here. And we're going to flip it around, and then we're going to line up the fabric edge right on the 4.5 inch line here, as well as the 4.5 inch line here. Cut off our dog ears, and another 4.5 inch square. And I'm going to do that same process with these other two. If you are left-handed, you can actually still use this same method, but instead of putting the opening in the right hand corner here, you can put it on the left hand corner here. Put the opening in the left hand corner, and you can still line up the ruler on, or put the marking right on the seam line to whatever size block you need, or size half square triangle that you need. So in this case, if I'm gonna make a 4.5, I would be lining the 4.5 inch mark right there, as well as right there on that seam line. And of course you can cut it. Now this rotary cutter is specifically for right-handed people, but you can cut it and cut it across there. Again, this rotary cutter is actually made for a right-handed person. So, but if you are left-handed, you would do this, you would basically be doing the same thing. It's just that your opening flap is now going to be pointing in your upper left corner. And then you can just line up the ruler like this and then cut it. So now we got 4 half square triangles that measure 4.5 inches. We're going to press the seam allowances and we're going to press these blocks. Now, before we do that, with the rest of these squares, we're going to actually trim them down so that they end up being 4.5 inches. Okay, again, I started off with a 5-inch square. Now we're going to trim them down to 4.5. If you are cutting yardage, or if you're cutting a fat quarter, or if you're going to basically cut out these squares, like I have a whole container full of 5-inch squares here that I just keep for projects like this. So I just took out the squares from my 5-inch square bin. But if you are going to cut yardage, or if you're going to cut from a fat quarter or even a pre-cut, you can go ahead and just cut it at 4.5 inches. You don't have to cut it at 5 inches. Then that will actually save a step. However, for the half square triangle blocks, you do want to cut these at 5 inches. Okay, so I'm just going to stack all of them together. And we are going to trim it down to 4.5. Fabric's not lined up just quite right. That's better. 4.5 and 4.5 there. Fabric shifted a little bit. Okay. And we are going to square this up. And one more with the print. Okay, here's another question that I do hear often, if the camera will focus. Notice that the edge of this fabric is pinked, meaning it's a little jagged. Whenever I measure these particular types of fabrics, I always go from, here is a pinked edge fabric, and whenever I'm measuring, I'm always measuring from the valley, or the point that goes in towards the fabric. Okay, some people actually measure from the peak, but I don't. I just find that I do get a better overall quilt block if I actually measure in from the valley, or that point that goes in towards the fabric. Or if you want to just avoid that altogether, you can just basically trim off that pink edge, which is what I'm about to do here. And I didn't do a very good job at it, but because I still got part of it there. There it is. Okay, so now I can measure. I got a straight edge now. Measure it at 4.5. Cut that. Cut that. Oh, okay, I really do need to change this blade. 4.5. Now we got all of our pieces. Let's go press these particular blocks open, and then we'll sew up and lay out the block and sew it all together. You know, before I even started this series of the 52 weeks and 52 blocks, after filming the very first video, or the first week, quite honestly, I hesitated to actually even post that video because I was so terrified about how people would respond to to that video. You know, I always hear horror stories about people saying horrible things, and yeah, I mean, we're putting it out there in public, but it's really scary when you put yourself out there in public, and because you just really don't know how people are going to respond. And what you saw in that first video is truly how I am in this quilting room. You know, I make mistakes. I'm not the perfect quilter, I'm not the perfect seamstress, and I will make those kinds of mistakes, and sometimes I just have a meltdown, especially when I can't find Jack. I didn't know how people would actually receive that particular video, and I hesitated for about a week to actually post it. At one point, you know, I kind of said to myself, I'm never gonna conquer this fear, or I'm never gonna start anything if I don't conquer that fear. And so I just hit the upload button and hit publish and just prayed for the best. But now, 5 weeks later, I'm kind of glad that I took the risk of that, because you know, the response to this particular video series has been quite overwhelming. I gotta say that, you know, a lot of people were laughing. They found it amusing, entertaining, and they're getting something out of it. I figured this is probably a good time to actually say thank you to all of you by doing this Friendship Star block. Again, just reassuring me that what I'm doing is okay. I mean, somebody's getting something out of it, and that's all I really wanted. Thank you again to all of you who have been watching week after week, and for those of you that are actually participating and sewing along with me, thank you to you guys, because I know there's a lot of sew-alongs out there that you're probably a part of, and yet you guys are sewing along with me in all my craziness. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm just, again, just in total shock that people are actually watching these things, because honestly, I thought maybe I would get 100 people to subscribe to this channel. But thanks to some very good friends like T, you know, I've been following her for the past 4 years now. 4 years? 4 or 5 years. You know, she goes live on her YouTube channel on Tuesday nights and on Saturday nights. And sometimes I pop into those live chats and just kind of cause a ruckus. She's gotten to be a very great quilting friend, and I asked her, can I promote my video on her channel? And she said, sure, okay. She allowed me to actually promote the very first one, the one that I was terrified of. Thank you, T, for that. There's also Tiffany of Tiffany's, oh gosh, she's gonna kill me when she sees this. Tiffany's Quilting Life. Yes, that's the one. You know, I really honestly think she should change the name of her channel to Quilting in the Fast Lane, because that girl can sew really fast. She needs this machine, actually. You know, Tiffany actually promoted the heck out of what I was doing, because, and she, on the first video, I think I told her that I was so like self-conscious about it, but she said, keep the humor, or keep the mistakes in there. She was one of those that told me to just keep doing that, because that's probably the best part. Thank you, Tiffany. What made me do the Friendship Star was, there is a subscriber out there. She has her own channel, and her channel's called Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. Hey, Brenda. I actually was roaming around on her YouTube channel, and I did find this one particular video where she calls it a case study with the Friendship Star. And in this case study, what she's doing is she'll take this block and she'll just change one element of it. The video that I was watching of hers was she was taking the Friendship Star, and instead of putting a background solid like this, she was doing stuff to this. Anytime you change the block, whether it's just, I don't know, adding an element, stitching a triangle in the corner on some of the block, just that one little element of change can actually dramatically affect the overall look of the quilt and of the block itself. So in this case study, Brenda is investigating what can you do, what subtle change can you do to a block to make it look different. And she has tons of examples in this video. And on one particular block, I think she called it a weed whacker. I just found it so fascinating that just by changing up the layout of the block a little bit and how you stitch it and how you put it together, the block looked totally different. It was still in that Friendship Star pattern, but it just was like mind-boggling what she came up with. So go check out that video. Go check out Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda and tell her I sent you there. Hey Brenda, I know you're watching. And thank you for that video. Okay, so we got our blocks, or we got our half square triangles all pressed up. If you didn't see me, I was actually working the iron and talking to you at the same time. I can multitask because, yeah, I'm gonna call this the multitasking elixir, because this actually does help me do that. Okay, let's get this block all laid out and let's get this block sewed up. And here is the finished block. Now, I think I'm going to call this one the 5252 star, dedicated to all of you, my old, new, and future quilting friends. Well, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. And join us on the Facebook group at Treasure Heart Creations and on Instagram at Treasure Heart Creations. And use the hashtag THC5252 to post pictures of your block. Stay tuned because now we're going to do a special announcement. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. That's right, guys. August is my birth month. How old am I? I'm 21 years old with 23 years of experience. And in honor of this, I'm going to do a giveaway. I actually have 2 panels that I purchased from Robert Kaufman that I'm going to give away to 2 lucky subscribers. To enter the giveaway, all you have to do is join the Treasure Heart Creations Facebook group. There's a link to the group in the description below. You will have until August 27, 2021 to join the Facebook group. Then on August 29th, when the next video goes up on YouTube, we will announce the winners. Now, I did say winners because I have 2 panels to give away. Both are from Robert Kaufman and both are Christmas themed. One features a Christmas tree. And the other is a holiday wreath. So again, to enter this giveaway, join the Treasure Heart Creations Facebook group. And, well, as an added bonus, if you post a picture of a block that you've made while watching this 52 weeks, 52 block series, I'll give you an extra entry. I'm gonna go and enjoy this birthday margarita, and I'll see you in the next video. Now go out and celebrate life and create something.